Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Garbag Lanes and our first session of Age of Sigmar. Yay!
Yay!
You have me as your GM, Dan. I apologize in advance. This is my first ever time I've been a GM, so it's going to be a rocky road. But thankfully, I have an experienced bunch of players with me, and I'm sure they need no introduction. You've seen them multiple times on our Warhammer Wednesdays. So we will start, and I will ask my players to introduce themselves, their character, and the archetype they've picked to play in this adventure that I'm running. So we'll start with my namesake, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. Hi, I'm Dan, and my character's name is Dathos El Tora. I am playing a Stormcast Eternal, and I'm a what?
A Night Quester.
And I'm a Night Quester.
Come on, Dan. Moving swiftly on to Roger.
Hi, I'm Roger, and I am playing, I forgot my own character's name, Borear Ragewood, who is a Kurnoth Hunter.
Thank you very much. It's going well. We remember who we're playing. I'm going to go to the ever-reliable Aaron.
Hey everybody, I'm Aaron, and I am playing Krem Redhammer, the Duardin Auric Rune Smiter.
See, guys, that's professional. That's how we do it.
We do have how we do it. That is professional.
We do have another player who unfortunately can't join us tonight, but we're only doing sort of character creation, and a little bit of an epilogue, so it won't matter too much that Jim is not joining us tonight. He's off on his hollybobs, enjoying himself, sending us lovely pictures. Damn him. But he will be playing a Ideneth Deepkin. He's playing an Achillean emissary. So look forward to his soul-sucking elf when he joins us next week on our beginning of our adventure. So like I said, tonight we are going to do character creation and then a little taster at the end, so you get to feel to how the combat works and sort of how the story is going to develop in the next few weeks. So guys, you should have your character sheets on Foundry, so if you could pull those up for me for the viewers at home. So we're going to go through character creation on Foundry. It's a lot easier because you can just drag and drop everything into it, so saves the guys a bit of time. So they've already picked their archetype. Now with each archetype comes a special bonus. So for Dan, your bonus for being a Stormcast Eternal is you get to be reforged every time you die. Lucky you. Aaron, you're a Dwarden, so you're extra tough, so you get 2 extra wounds on your wound chart. So basically it means when you've run out of your toughness, which is what you use to calculate how many essentially initial wounds you have before you start getting into the death zone, you get an extra 2 wounds on your tracker. And Roger, you get natural armor. So your body armor, you have a level of 2 armor straight from the dot. And if it ever gets damaged, it regrows. So, and that's your bonus. And for Jim, who's not here, he gets 2 bonus experience points because he's an elf and they've been around a long time. So if you can go into the compendium bit and find your in the archetypes core, if you can drag and drop it onto your character sheet, it'll automatically ask you if you want to start doing character creation. Give me a nod when that's done.
That is done.
All right. So about your bonuses, just check Aaron on it, because when I did Jim's character sheet, it didn't do the extra XP. So just make sure when it gets through to it, you got your extra bonus wounds on there. Okay. So each one of you in your archetype has a it's all set out for you in your archetype. So we'll start with, I'm going to turn the page to the first character we find. And it's the Achillean emissary, of course, who's not here with us tonight. So we'll start with the Auric Rune Smiter. So obviously you've got your stats, which are your body, mind, and soul, and they make up your dice pool. So your core skill is devotion. So that should already be active on your So you have 7 XP to spending skills, and you have 2 talents to choose. Now you also have core talents. So you have Blessed of Grimnir, Sense Gold, and Zargrim. I can explain what they do to you later, but they should all be in there for you. And then you get to pick 2 talents from Diplomat, Fearless, Guts, and any Miracles of Grimnir. I would probably pick 2 Miracles of Grimnir. I was reading them earlier. They're very good.
Yeah, they're not too bad. Not too bad at all.
So yeah, and like I said, you can spend your skills on ballistic skill, beast handling, crafting, determination, devotion, fortitude, intuition, might, theology, and weapon skill. So quite a broad area where you can spend them from your initial points. And you go ahead and spend those, and we'll do a little roundup after everyone's spent and done all their bits. Equipment, sorry, before I forget, racing on. You get any free gold runes, and they are on page 117. If you don't have the book, Aaron, let me know. I've got them in here.
I've got it.
Yeah, lovely. And then you either have a runic iron and hand axe, so 2-hand weapons, or a latch axe, which is a big old axe, and then your holy symbol, which is a forge key. You also have enough gold to forge 1 more rune and 15 drops of aqua granis, which is the currency / healing in Age of Sigmar. So next we shall move on to the Night Questor. Dan, have you drag and dropped it into your thing? It's all there saying ready, lovely, jubbly. Okay, so your core skill is weapon skill, unsurprisingly, for a Stormcast Knight. And then you've got 7 XP to spend in athletics, determination, fortitude, intimidation, law, might, reflexes, survival, theology, and weapon skill. Your core talent is heroic challenge, and you can choose.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I know, it's a really cool rule as well when you read it. And then your free talents, you can choose 3 talents, and it's bulwark, combat ready, diplomat, guts, intimidating, mana, or underdog. So you can pick one of those 3. And equipment wise, you've got Sigmarite Warplate, which is heavy armor, so it gives you an armor value of 3, a Questor blade, which is just a sword, and a shield, or you can have, instead of that, a 2-handed melee weapon, so you can either go 2 more defensive or more offensive if you want. And then a cloak, a small pendant, and 65 drops of aqua granis. So you're a bit richer than the Fire Slayer.
Oh yes.
All right, and then that takes us neatly to Roger and Mr. Ragewood. Why have you called it Ragewood? That's just going to make people giggle for the entire time. And hello, everybody is saying hello in Twitch as well. So I am trying to look at Twitch while this is going on, so I can see all you lovely people talking to us. So you start with either ballistic skill or weapon skill as your core choice. You get to choose which one you want, and that so
For some reason, it's not giving me the choice.
What's it? Oh, is it not?
It's defaulted to ballistic skill.
Oh, that's unusual.
And I can't undo it. Annoyingly.
Okay, I'll have a look at that for you afterwards. So because I know you wanted to do weapon skill, so it should already put it in, but it gives you a free point in the training and in the focus. We'll go on to that when we start doing some combats a little bit later. How that applies in dice rolling. Again, thankfully, it's really intuitive on Foundry. Does a lot of it for you. So you've got 6 XP to spend in awareness, ballistic skill, beast handling, fortitude, might, nature, reflexes, stealth, and weapon skill. Your core talent is ancestral memories, and that, I don't know if you've had a look at it, but it gives you basically a bonus to something of your choosing during the game. And then you could choose 2 talents from animal friend, bulwark, hail of doom, hunter, or loyal companion. And your equipment you start with is a great bow, which is just a bow in equipment terms, a great sword, a great scythe, and then 280 aqua granis. So you are loaded, mate. To say the least. I
don't know what that means.
It means you're very rich, because aqua granis is the currency of the world, or at least of the Age of Sigmar world.
Trees are renowned for hoarding their wealth.
Well, ironically, it comes from the realm of life, which is where the trees come from. So yeah. So once you've, if you've got any questions with regards to what skills, if any skills you want to discuss or anything like that, let me know. But once you've done that and you've put yourself in, I'll have a quick look for you, Roger, on the character sheet. Just bear with me. See if I can't. Stats.
Let's see if there's more than one Hallowed Hunter type. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's odd that it defaults to.
What does might do?
Might, I shall tell you, good sir.
It's like your strength skill, your bend bars, lift gates.
Yeah, basically.
Grapple too.
Yeah. So, of course, it would be not on that page. Appear to have lost might. Medic. Marshall. I can't find might in the talents section for some weird reason, even though I've got it right here in front of me. It's going well. Yeah, but I think it's what Aaron said. I cannot see it. Medic. Oh, sorry. That's why, because I'm looking in talents and not skills. My apologies. Yeah, might body represents performing heroic feats such as strength, lifting dead weights, smashing through doors or catching falling portcullises. Characters with training in might may well be supernaturally strong. Focusing might mean you specifically learned how to leverage your power directly and more effectively. There you go.
Thank you very much.
And I think there's some talents it links to, if I remember rightly, like some special like crushing blows and whatnot that I think proc off of it a little bit. But otherwise, yes, it's your ability to do heavy things.
What would stuff like tracking be based off?
Tracking nature, I would say.
Cool.
So what happens when you take a focus?
So basically, the way it works is if you've got a training point, it gives you. I've now forgotten what it gives you. I know focus allows you to adjust one of your dice rolls by 1. So, training gives you an extra dice. Apologies. So if you've got a training and a talent, that gives 1 extra dice to your dice pool. So your dice pool is made up of the core stat, which is body, mind, or soul, and then your training in said skill. So in the case of like weapon skill, if your body is 4 and your weapon skill is 1, then you get 5 dice in your pool. And then when you roll those dice, if you have a focus in that, you can then adjust one of those dice by 1. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it gives you a slight ability to adjust your dice rolls and potentially get some extra hits and whatnot. Or, if I'm giving you another test.
So one thing I noticed in my character sheet, so I did take the second miracle. Instead, I took 1 talent, guts, to give myself a little bump on my toughness based on my. But I did take a second. I took a second miracle, and it's automatically calculating that as part of my XP spent. So I'm overspent by 2 XP, but that's just because
that's fine. Yeah, it's an odd. When I was doing Jim's character, I was noticing little quirks in the Foundry the other day of it. So there might be some bits that we just have to do some manual adjustments to. Same with you, Roger. If you do your character and it's still saying just on your talent page of your character sheet, just knock down ballistic skill and put the bonuses into your weapon skill.
Cool.
Because it shouldn't affect you in any way, shape, or form.
I can't find the companions anywhere.
Companions, they are at the very back of the book. So it depends on what type of. So you can have a quibbling.
Yes,
Sorry?
I don't know what that is.
Towards the back of the book in the bestiary.
Oh, it says bitter grub in here.
Oh, is it a bitter grub, not a quibbling for you? Okay, all right, fine, fair. A bitter grub. Yes. So page 304 for you, Roger, if you're looking for the bitter grub. Pets and mounts. It's basically a worm with a mouth, I think. Right.
What do we think? Underdog or combat ready?
Both are very good for different reasons. Obviously, combat ready gives you a bonus to your initiative. So obviously always handy because it puts you closer to the top of the fighting thing. What I would say to you is that one of your combat actions you can take is seize the initiative, which means you forego your attacks for a round, but you then move to the top of the initiative chain. So, and then underdog, if I remember rightly, doesn't that give you a bonus when you're outnumbered or something like that?
Yeah, if 2 or more enemies and no allies are within close range of you at the start of your turn, your melee increases 1 step.
Oh, actually, that makes you actually better at hitting them. So basically, if you're fighting off a load of enemies on your own and you're in the zone on your own, you move your step up. And I'm pretty sure for you, you're in quite a high step for melee already, depending on how you've spent your things on weapon skill or anything like that. So Age of Sigmar has a little chart, basically, and you fit into that little chart with your skills, or more importantly, with your combat skills, based on its training level and your dice pool determines where you are on that chart. So if you've got 5, I believe you're good, and if you've got more than 5, you're more than 7 or more, you're great, and then I think it's 11 or more, you're superb.
Superb is 5.
Superb is 5.
Wait, what?
It's the 5th level.
It's the 5th level. Sorry. For stats wise, for you to be in superb, I think you have to have 11 in both, like, sort of the core stat with training as well.
Unless your body is stamped with 2 runes of fury.
yes. Unless you've taken multiple runes of fury, in which case you might be a lot higher.
I'm not saying that's what I've done, but that's what I've done.
Aaron, you get to explain that to the viewers in a minute.
I'm so sorry. I get so excited when I get to kill things with a big axe.
I assume you've gone with the great axe then, in which case.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go looking like a slayer, you got to slay, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, yes, you're absolutely not wrong.
Right, I think I'm ready to submit mine, so I'm going to click submit. And not try and break it.
Yeah, I think my guy's completely done. Because I'm saving all my currency for healing later. Because I only have 15 drops. I am poor.
When it comes to healing, you were probably all looking at Roger to share out some of his money. I mean, sorry, water.
Okay, I've submitted, but I don't know if there's anything I should be doing with money. I have no clue.
No, I mean, you can't, there's no sort of pre-game spending because the game gives you a load of your early equipment anyway. Looks like I've just looked at your sheet. It looks like it's all good.
Although my weapon's on there.
Go to gear, you need to equip it. So it'll be in your gear. That's the same for everyone. If you've got stuff you've got stuff in your gear, so it comes as part of your character. You need to go to the gear page, add it.
You've supposed to have natural armor as well because I've got nothing under armor.
Yes, you should have.
It's a talent, though, isn't it?
No, it's his race.
I say like I know what I'm talking about, but
it's his race ability. But like I said, what I found with Jim's sheet is it wasn't adding the. So what I'll do is just pop your. That's not gonna let me do it, is it? Why is it not letting me? There you go. Just below. No, that's natural awareness. Why is it not allowing armors? Medium. Natural. 1 second, I'm just editing your character sheet.
Cool.
I'm just giving you natural armor as an equipment. So that should. Has that worked?
It's got armor and it's got the number as 0.
Oh, of course it has. Come on, Foundry, don't let me down. It's a bit of pain. Medium. Benefits. Oh, there we go. It's my fault. It's not Foundry's fault.
Shh, blame Foundry. You'll get away with it.
Okay. Oh, come here. Natural armor. He says. Okay, close. Okay. Now, there you go. It's in there now for you. You've got natural armor now.
Smashing.
There is an ability or a special potion if you get it part of the way through the game, Roger. It's called Iron Bark Oil, and you basically oil yourself up and you get +1 to your armor. Mr. Ragewood.
Someone else to oil me up.
Mr. Ragewood oiling himself up.
Right,
so
oil my wood.
His raging wood is all oiled up.
Oh God, I
Oh,
can see
no.
I can see the way this game is going to go already, viewers. So, okay, well, in which case, I think we've done that in record time. So, Aaron,
That was probably the most easiest character creation I've ever done.
I was going to say it
Kudos
really
to-
is. I mean, the game itself is quite intuitive. It's quite easy to build characters, and then Foundry just makes it even easier because you just drag and drop stuff, and it's there.
This is the same system as the 40k one, right?
Yes, yeah, it's the same one
Very
as
How come
the.
that took a lot longer on this one than last time I played it? I remember on Foundry. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can't remember what system we used last time.
I don't think we had the dragon archetype and then it pre-populated loads.
Yeah, I was gonna say this was a lot. When I built Jim's character the other day for him, because he's obviously away on holiday, everybody. Yeah, the drag and drop thing was really handy to just so quick. I was just like, oh, and I'm done. So without further ado, Aaron, please take us through your character, where you spent your points. Give us a little flavor as to why you spent your points in that manner.
Sure. So Grim Redhammer has recently been bound, and he's still coming to grips with it because it's not something the average fire slayer necessarily goes out of his way to do. He's young Zagrim. He's got a body of 3, a mind of 2, and a soul of 3. So I went with the standard array there. He only had 7 experience points to spend on skills, so he gets devotion 1 and focus 1 for devotion automatically. So because he's a priest of Grimnir. So obviously I did not change that though, because he's new to this. He's young for a Duardin. I took Fortitude 2 because he's tough. He's a hard hitter. He's a guy who jumps into the fray. And I took Weapon Skill 2 with a focus 1 in weapon skill. So, maybe when he was younger, he never thought that he would hear the calling of Grimnir, never thought that he would become one of the Zagrim. He felt that maybe he would have been gone down a different direction. But no, this is the path that he was called for as an Auric Runesmiter. So that's his skill set. For his talents, he has Blessed of Grimnir, so he can cast miracles, and I'll get to those in a minute. I picked Guts because, once again, when I think dwarf, I think just tough. So with Guts, for each level of you have in Fortitude, you get a bonus to your toughness. So I get basically +2 to his toughness. He also has the talents Sense Urgold. So I mean that's what he's all about as a Zagrim. As fire slayers, they're looking for the Urgold. So he's constantly trying to find that. And then his other talent that he got for free is Zagrim, which gives him the ability to take the endeavor of Forge Urgold rune. I don't know that we'll get to that during this, but I mean, that would ultimately be where he would be at. He does the 2 miracles that I chose. So he gets 1 miracle for free, and I took Carterize with that so that he can use his holy symbol, his iron key, to help heal his companions when the fighting is done. And the second miracle I took is Runic Empowerment. So I spend 1 point of metal, and that gives me and all my allies +1 armor. And then every round is a free action. I can spend that point of metal, which you get 1 point, regenerates every round, to continually buff our armor. So it's a way for him to keep everybody in the fight a little bit. He is wielding a latch axe, so basically a great axe, a 2-handed axe in combat, and he does love to hack and slash with it. An Auric Runesmiter gets 3 Urgold runes to start with. So these are literally gold runes that are stamped into their flesh. So you look at his scarred, beaten body. That's one of his. He's heavily scarred on the left side of his face and his entire scalp. So he's bald completely, but he's got the big plated dark red beard, and he always wears this battered brass Roman style helmet because he's ashamed of the fact that he can't grow hair on the top of his head. But he does. So you see all these, he's got several runes stamped in his body that have since, they've lost the glow, they've lost their power, but they're still embedded in his skin. But the 3 that still glow with the inner fire of Grimnir that are stamped into his body is a rune of Iron Skin, which gives him +1 armor, because no Fire Slayer is going to be seen wearing armor. I mean, Grimnir and their own rage protects them and nothing else. But this Rune of Ironskin helps a little bit. And then in addition, he's got 2 other identical runes, and they're stamped into his shoulders, almost like pauldrons, and they're runes of fury. And each rune of fury bumps his step in melee by 1. So currently, when his initiative turn comes and his runes activate, he is a superb melee combatant with his axe. However, because he has none of these skills associated with defense, his defense is only average, and his armor is 1 when he wades into battle. But he's a little tough, so he's willing to take a hit or two, and that is essentially Grim Redhammer, our young Auric Runesmiter.
Sounds great. Sounds like you built him to be exactly what he is. And actually, I quite like the fact that he's not very defensive, because he is essentially naked at the end of the day, and he's going to be wading into people. He doesn't really care about defense. Fantastic. Well, then I shall move over to the tree, Mr. Ragewood. Would you like to tell us what you spent your points on and a bit about your character? Same as Aaron, please.
Okay, so Warrior Ragewood is used to defending the glades of the Heartwoods in the plane of life. He has been spending, it has been spending most of its life fighting Nurgle, or a large part of it anyway. Warrior is very old. He's been around since the awakening of the mortal realms, in one form or another, because it's quite hard for a Sylvaneth to truly die, as long as they fall in the right place. From a seed, they can be reborn, as long as Lady Alariel decides that that's the right thing. So it has some awareness, because I thought, given it's used to guarding things, being able to spot threats is probably a good idea. It's got some fortitude, because figured it's a tree, it's going to be pretty hard. It's got some might, because again, Kernoth hunters are massive. They've got to be at least 10, 12 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean, they're taller than a Stormcast Eternal, and the Stormcast Eternals are about
pretty
7 feet.
sizable. It's got some nature for obvious reasons. It's a tree, and it's got 3 weapon skill, because it's been around a long time, and it knows how to use its scythe to cut down hordes of beasts of Nurgle and poxwalkers and all sorts of weird, gribbly, icky things.
Basically anything that steps into the glades that shouldn't step into the glades.
Exactly.
And any particular reason why he's become soulbound at this point in time?
Well, I'm sure he was ordered to this by Lady Alariel. So Lady Alariel has taken an interest in what's going on. And his life isn't really his own to decide what to do with. He is bound by the lady, and she said, "Go do the thing." And
Excellent.
So I'm here.
Fantastic. And that leads us on to our final party member, Dan.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Right, where to begin? So, Dathos Eltora is a Stormcast and Night Quester. He fell as a mortal upon the walls of a city in a long-lost battle, in a long-lost city in the time of the Age of Chaos. He's only recently been forged upon Sigmar's anvil. So he's still kind of getting to grips a little bit with this new way of the 8 realms. As a Night Quester, he has been given a vision, a quest to complete. I haven't decided what that is yet.
We've got time. We've got time.
We've got time. It's fine. I have pretty similar veins to our to Aaron's character. I've taken 7 skill points and spread them around. My fortitude with a focus, my weapon skill with a focus, and some might as well, because I kind of picture Dathos to be this silver and gold and blue armored, indomitable bastion of armor and shield and sword kind of thing. To support that, I've got the talents of Bulwark, which means he's a steadfast defender against the hordes of the enemy. So if there are two of my enemies close to me, my defense increases. I too have also taken Guts. Why not, especially with a toughness, with Fortitude going that high, it's going to help. One of the great things about the Stormcast Eternal Knights Questa is the Talent Heroic Challenge, which is just epic. You call out a challenge to one of your enemies, demanding they face you in one-to-one combat. As an action, you can choose a creature with a medium range and basically just kind of battle them to the death. But if they don't accept the challenge, they get minuses, etc., which is pretty cool. I've also taken Underdog to kind of balance out my Bulwark, because it means if I'm backed into a corner and there's more enemies and no allies nearby, my melee step increases as well. So yeah,
Fantastic.
And I've gone for the option of a sword and shield.
Yeah,
because again,
yeah,
you've got to do it really.
Yeah, no, of course, no. You're Stormcast Eternal, of course, absolutely. So for the viewers at home, obviously, how melee and defense and all of that malarkey is calculated. So melee, so your ability to attack and your sort of your step and level on it is to calculate your melee. You add your body plus your training in weapon skill, and you look on the skill ladder. And the skill ladder is 11 to 12 extraordinary, 9 to 10 superb, 7 to 8 great, 5 to 6 good, and right down to poor. And then that's how we get our sort of defense. And then defense is pretty much the same to calculate defense. You add your defense is your body plus your reflex training, and then that gives you your score and defense. Thankfully, Foundry automatically calculates this for us, but so it makes our life a lot easier. But yeah, so just for you guys at home, and then your toughness is your body plus your mind plus your soul, and then obviously given talents add to that. So fortitude and then guts give you these bonuses on top of that, just to make you a bit tougher. And then your toughness is essentially your wounds. So that you take your damage off your toughness first, and then when you're down to 0 toughness, you then start taking wounds based on how much damage you sustain after you've run out of toughness. Fairly straightforward. Then there's lots of talents that give you sort of ups and downs and on your melee steps and your defense steps. So, but good. Okay, so that's everybody's character. So, without further ado, we shall step in to a little epilogue. So it's not the full adventure, just a little bit of an amuse-bouche, as it were, to the adventure. So our setting, we're based late in the Age of Sigmar. The age of myth and chaos have passed into distant memory for most. The necroquake has shaken the worlds and the undead rose in numbers. To counteract this, Sigmar unleashed the Sacrosanct Chambers, though many whisper of a darker intent to his release of the Sacrosanct Chambers. When he felt that peace was potentially within a grasp, the great calamity, Kragnos, returned to the realms and sparked hatred and determination in the forces of destruction. And now Uruks, ogres, grots, and all sorts of creatures of demeanor less kinder than the Order factions now set upon the world from the realm of Gur and unleash war. Sigmar now more than ever needs heroes, and heroes we have in the Soulbound. We join our heroes on the outside of Hammerhole, Aski. So Hammerhole based in the realm of fire, standing on beyond the wall with armies of orders. To your right, you see 3 guild guard preparing. To your left, you see a rune father on a magmadroth leading his lodge alongside a ragtag band of elves and a mixture of all kinds of heroes from the Stormcast Eternals. And before you, across the field, stands a humongous Uruk army. So forces of destruction are arrayed before the city walls. They're here to bring it down. They're attacking the pinnacle of civilization here in the realm of fire. And as you watch and prepare, and the field is littered with dead bodies as this battle's been going on for a day already. And there's holes in the wall behind you, and obviously fire and smoke because this is the realm of fire. So very hot. You hear from the back of the orc war line, and with it, you see an energy, and the orc battle line charges towards you, and everybody around you is bracing and panicking. You can see some of the Free Guild are panicking because obviously, you know, they're just little human people. They're not used to seeing this. And across the battlefield charges orcs and grots, and we shall go to initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to give me your initiatives, please? And your initiative is should be on your sheet. But to calculate your initiative, it is it's your mind plus your level of training in awareness and reflexes skill. So it should automatically calculate on your sheet for you.
As you know, us Duarden are very fast. So
it should be under combat.
My initiative is 2.
Am I being blind? Oh, mine's 2. Genius.
Mine's 4.
Okay, so we have 4 for Rog. 4 for Ragewood, and then 2 for you both. Like I said, you can. One of the actions in combat is seize the initiative, so you can forego your turn to basically jump to the top of the initiative chart, as it were. So 4 for Rage and 2 for you, both of you. So for you two, because you're both on the same initiative step currently, you both basically get to decide when it gets to that initiative step, which one of you is going to go first. So we have your initiatives. Excellent. Right. So obviously the line is coming towards you. It's about to crash upon you. You've sort of taken up battle positions as you would, you know, getting ready to wade into the foe. You see to your right as a unit of Ardboys, the biggest and the best orcs, plows into the Free Guild Guard, and the Free Guild Guard look like they're collapsing straight away. But before you can lend your heroic aid, standing before you is 4 swarms of grot stabbers. So we're in a zones. You guys, there's 9 zones. So basically, you're in the back 3 zones. It's like 3, 3, 3. You'll stand in the middle zone together. You've all got normal speeds, which allows you to move from one zone to the next. And if you move fast, you can move 2 zones. Now, you can do 2 actions in combat. So you can do a move and an action, or you can do 2 moves. You can also spend metal. So you should have a metal. Most of you will have a metal of 1, apart from. Actually, no. You'll have 2, and I think the Stormcast will have 2 as well. You regenerate 1 metal at the beginning of every turn. So it's one of those resources you can spend quite a lot. So metal lets you do an extra action or use a talent. Now that extra action can be attack a second time. So if you want to go wading into things, then you can use metal to action twice and attack twice. So that's kind of how metal works. It's a big part of how it's basically what makes you quite heroic. Most enemies don't get metal. Only the big sort of characters get metal and things like that. So these grots are sort of arrayed before you, and they're sort of chittering and chattering and waving their little stabbers at you and thinking there's lots of them, they can take you on. So there's 4 swarms of 4, and they are standing before you, and they are in the front 3. Now, grots, let's see if your initiative of 2 is faster than a grot. Unsurprisingly, it is.
Oh.
So they are at initiative 2. However, because you're the players, you get to go first. So, Ragewood, what would you like to do as your first turn?
Oh, he's not waiting for them to come to him. He's charging.
Okay, so if you take the charge action, so there is a charge action, it allows you to essentially move and charge. So you can move 1 zone as your move action, and then you could charge as your combat action into the combat.
Sure.
And you get to swing. So but one thing it does do is it lowers your defense step by 1 for a turn.
And you get 1 plus, but you get a bonus D6 on your attack.
Yes, you get a plus D6 on your attack dice roll. So you get a bonus dice. So, of course, these goblins are, look at our mates, look, we've got our boys around us, we're great. And of course, now they're terrified because a massive tree has just stormed across the field of battle straight into them. So would you like to roll an attack for me? Their defense is poor. So when you bring up the attack, you'll see it says, what is your opponent's defense?
Target defense.
And then give yourself a bonus dice because you're charged. Just seen someone's put in the chat. Wow. Well, there you go. You've hit a lot of times. So your weapon does damage plus success levels, or is it got
that 1 plus S?
Yeah, 1 plus S. So it's 1 plus success levels. You'll be unsurprised to know that you've just whomped the whole entire swarm. Even with the bonus toughness for being extra goblins, you've just wiped out an entire thing of goblins. They're just dead. Just dead. They were. In fact, I imagine the scythe kind of just went in a sweeping motion and at the right level and just took off 4 goblin heads. Just
I'm probably used to killing small things. So,
excellent. Would you like to spend some metal?
I would, because there's quite a lot of things around me. I'm going to activate Bulwark.
Okay, excellent. So you've activated Bulwark. So now we move on to who would like to go first, the Stormcast Eternal or the Dwarden?
Oh, Age Before Beauty.
Right. Can't let the tree show us up. So he is going to charge himself at the next small knot of them.
Excellent. Yeah, so same thing again. You move, you charge forward. These goblins who are utterly now terrified of a giant tree who's just waded in and killed like a load of goblins at once, don't entirely notice you at first because you're about their height. But I'm sure they're about to notice you.
And you said their defense is poor, right?
Defense is poor, yeah. They don't get any bonuses to defense. They just get bonus to toughness and attacking when they're in a swarm.
7 damage.
Again.
Axe swings.
So unsurprisingly, again, an entire thing of grots has just been cut apart, dead, gone. Again, squealing, arms and bodies and bits and pieces flying everywhere. You seem to be enjoying yourself a little bit. Ancient enmity comes to mind when you wade into grots.
Too easy to even waste my axe on, but we'll clear them out and get to the big boys soon.
Yeah. I might have to throw something bigger at you. So would you like to spend any metal to do anything else, or you happy with just wading into that horde of goblins?
Just couldn't be shown up by the tree.
Understandable. So it leads us to our Stormcast Eternal.
Well, not to be left out, I will be charging as well.
And there's a faint sound of heavy rock music in behind you. As you go diving forward, and lightning kind of comes off you as you trail forward. Would you like to roll an attack? Poor goblins.
Yep.
Or grots. It's Age of Sigmar, they're grots.
Cool. 7.
We are consistent.
Yes. Okay. So again, unsurprisingly, there's a load of grots. They're dead. The last swarm of grots panics and runs away, true to their nature of being grots. However, your victory is short-lived, because what they were doing was running away and getting some mates. And what appears before you is a load of grots. They're carrying something longer this time. They're grot pokers. And there's more of them. So standing before you now, and they're rattling, and they're looking at all the dead goblins at your feet, and some of them don't look entirely brave, but you feel like something's behind them, sort of pushing them onwards. Like they're brave because they're probably more scared of what's behind them than what's in front of them. So 6 new goblins, hordes have turned up, and they're surrounding you a little bit. They're trying to use their numerical superiority against you. And they one of them's in range to get to you. The others are a little bit out of range because they've just come and joined in. But one will be in range to fight you. And unsurprisingly, there's a big gold metal man, and that looks fun to try and stab. So they're going to try and stab the giant metal silver, not gold.
Cool. How does this work then?
So they're going to swing at you. So what's your defense rating currently? So what's your normal? What's in your defense? What does it say normally?
Is that armor?
No,
so
combat tab.
If you go to the combat tab, and then it says
Yes.
abilities, so you'll see a little
Yep.
shield, and it'll say good, poor,
Great 4.
great, 4. So you would have dropped that by 1 because you charged. You lose a point on that. So excellent, excellent. Here we go, and then they get 3 bonus dice because they are a horde. Oh, they've done 3 damage. However, what's your armor rating? 3. Then they don't do any. They don't do any damage. So they come in and like, yeah. And they're trying to find some chinks in your armor. They're trying to get in the under your arms and surround you a little bit and get in there. But you're resolute. You're behind your shield. They're not doing anything to you. So we're back to the top with our Ragewood. Now, you don't need to leave your zone now. The other grots have used their actions to move into your zone. So your zone is now full. You're literally packed out in your zone now. There is currently 6 hordes of goblins around you.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's start a hacking.
Swing away. Their defense is still poor.
Cleave 2 damage to enemies in close range. I'm not sure what that means.
So that means you've then done 2 damage. So the way it kind of works is that there'll be 2 in the zone, sort of directly next to them. So when we're in close, that's 1 zone. So what you've essentially done is just do 2 damage to every goblin horde in this zone, which is all 6 of them. So basically, from your swing, you kill a goblin horde and you kill 2 goblins off of all the other hordes as well. So we're down to 2 goblins on the other 5 remaining hordes.
Excellent. Do I get another action or?
You can indeed. If you spend your metal point, you can do another action.
Yeah, why not? Let's just keep hacking.
Sorry, guys, there might not be anything left for the rest of you.
That's okay.
Man, I thought the goblins would be a little bit harder to kill. Apparently not. They are goblins after all. So you don't do any extra cleave damage. So you just finish off another horde. So there's 4 hordes remaining, each of 2 goblins. And we move over to our Dwarden and our Stormcast. Who would like to go first out of the 2 of you?
I don't mind.
Right. Bloody tree. And Grim Redhammer wades in, swinging his axe across the heads of these poor, soon-to-be dead goblins. Poor defense. No bonus die this time. 5 damage.
Yeah, but remember, you do have a focus point.
Mhm.
So we don't need to spend it here. 5 points of damage is enough to kill off one of the remaining hordes. But with focus, especially in Foundry, it's really helpful. If you right click on it on one of your dice rolls, it'll have a thing on there. You can add. So if you click on a dice, it'll put a 1 next to it. So if you click on one of your 5s, and then right click on it, it'll let you add the focus point to it, and it'll automatically change it on there for you.
There it goes. Okay. Yep.
So if you were to put down a 5, that becomes a 6, becomes an additional success.
Oh, cool.
6s are 2 successes.
Right.
But yeah, another goblins. They're screaming now. It's not even fun for you anymore. It's just too easy. They're just screaming. You know that bit in like Halo when you go charging into all the grunts and they all start screaming and running around. That's what these grots are doing right now. They're
And
panicking.
so Grim will spend a point of metal and swing his axe back around to try once again to take out one more horde.
Yeah, that's another horde gone. So, it's just there's body parts everywhere. They're just goblins, just destroyed. They're dead. The 2 remaining 2 hordes are now cowering from you. They're just backing away. They don't even know what to do.
Come on, Dathos, get in here and kill these last 2 hordes. You got to keep up with the tree.
So I'm gonna charge one of the other hordes then.
Don't need to charge. They're already in your zone, so you only need to.
Oh,
you
they're already
can't-
in my
yeah,
zone.
yeah. So you
Okay.
just need to go straight into your melee attack.
When you're looking at your abilities and you've got bonuses, are those taken into account on the stat above?
They should be. So are they talents or are they effects?
I don't know, because it's got, like, for example, next to my shield, it's got great, and then brackets 4, and then underneath it a bonus of 1.
Yeah. So when you equip your shield, which you've done, it automatically gives you the +1 bonus to your melee defense step. So look, if you've equipped the shield, which I can see, I'm looking at your character sheet now, you have, so that'll automatically bump you up from good to great. So it should, any talents or any effects you have, as long as they're activated, they should automatically update on your sheet.
How do you activate it?
So if you go into effects, all your ones are active. I can see them. They've got a little tick next to them, and you can tick them and untick them. Generally speaking, you'll probably never untick them. The only player that might is Jim's character, because he can mount and dismount his eel that he can ride into battle, and he gets bonuses for riding on his eel. But if he's not on his eel, then he needs to turn those off. So, but generally speaking, you won't turn off your passive effects and things like that.
Cool. Okay.
Unless obviously
Right.
someone turns them off.
So
Swing away at these poor goblins. I mean, people say that the goblins are the evil part of the story, but I don't think so. I think you guys are horrible.
also a 6.
Well, okay, you dispatch one of the remaining hordes. Would you like to use a point of metal just to wade in and just finish the last poor souls
yes,
off?
please. 1. Poor. Oh, only 4.
As there was only 2 goblins left, that is more than sufficient. I'm sure that a warrior of Sigmar is able to dispatch with 2 small goblins with 4 successes. So absolutely, again, waded in. They're dead. There's not even any screaming anymore. You're looking around. There's just green on the floor as you've mercilessly dispatched with a load of goblins, and just in time, because sort of as you waded into all this, you sort of got a bit of a breather to survey the battlefield and see what's going on. Obviously, this is a wide battle right across the front of Hammerhall, with the forces of order trying to hold back this tide. You look to your right, and the Ard boys are now turning the flank in on you. They're now making their way towards you from that right hand side. The Free Guild Guard have been bested, and to make matters worse, on the left hand side, the Rune Father or Magmadroth, who was quite happily wading through our boys and breathing fire on them, is now stuck in a titanic duel against a Maw Crusher. For those of you who don't know what a Maw Crusher is, it's basically a giant flying cabbage with big giant fists, and they're very good at crushing
if
things.
you crossbreed a dragon and a cabbage,
That is a very accurate description of what a Maw Crusher is. So there's this big titanic duel, this giant Magmadroth, and they're just clashing, and there's lava blood flowing everywhere, and around their feet there's orcs and Dwarden fighting off, and it's there. But your concern at the moment right now is this right flank turning in on you. But before you get the opportunity to sort of turn and fight them, you hear a gnashing noise. As all of a sudden, before you, a load of squigs, lots of squigs, at least 10 squigs are now running towards you and running towards your own. And behind them is more goblins, but they look to be carrying bows and arrows. So, moving into your zone, they're coming at you pretty quick, actually, these squigs, because they can move quite fast, unsurprisingly. And they are gnashing at you. So we will then move back to they're only initiative 1, so you will get to go first, but these aren't swarms. You're not going to be able to like smash through them as easily. So, and they're a little bit tougher. So they are bounding towards you as you would imagine, gnashing as they bounce. And it's like, it's almost like watching a game of basketball. And the first sort of 5 move into your zone, and we will go straight to the tree, who is now assailed by at least 3 of them.
So I get ancestral memory, so I can draw upon the experiences of my ancestors.
Yes.
And I can gain training 1 or focus 1 in a skill of my choice.
Yep.
Does focus work? Is that like once per session, or?
No, it's once per attack. So every time you roll a dice for that talent, you can use a focus point to change the dice roll by 1.
Okay, can I give myself a focus in weapon skill?
You absolutely can give yourself a focus in weapon skill.
Excellent. In which case, then I'm gonna chop me a squig.
Now, these have a defense rating of average. So they're slightly harder to hit.
8 damage.
All right, calm down. My
I
poor
think he's doing
squig.
all right.
The poor squig. Fine. Well, yeah, you kill one. You kill one. It pops like a balloon and splats everywhere on the floor. You big old meanie. But there are still 2 other squigs standing before you at this moment in time.
We're gonna get swarmed at the end of the turn, aren't we? I think.
Yes. You are.
All right, I'm gonna spend my metal to activate Bulwark.
Absolutely. Good plan. Good plan. That moves your melee step up by defense up by
It
1.
moves
doesn't it?
my defense up by 1.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Grim or the Stormcast? Mr. Dathos, who would you like to swing first?
Grim holds his axe up and starts chanting, "By Grimner's blood and beard, protect me and those bound to me." And he spends 1 point of metal to cast Runic Empowerment, giving everybody a bonus armor point.
That's a very good use of that talent, you horrible, horrible man, you.
That's awesome.
It's
And
very
then-
good.
I will spend my second point of metal and an attack.
Okay. Swing away. Like I said, they do have average defense. If that makes a blind bit of difference to what you're doing right now.
Defense. Seven damage. Ah!
Well, one literally it's leaping towards you, mouth open. And just as it does, your axe bisects it and it's like splits in half and goes past you.
Squid guts in the face. You know you're living a good life now.
And the blood and the guts as it hits you kind of sizzles off your burning, like your runes are like sort of glowing. You know, you're in the rage of Grimnar right now. So, then moving over to our punk rocker, rocking
he has-
star.
Just say, check out those sizzling pecs on the dwarf. Right. Crystal Ball Blade. What target defense, sorry?
Average.
Average. Okay. No bonus dice, no bonus focus. Roll 7.
Yeah. I mean, it's as expected. You've killed a poor innocent squig who was just coming to give you a cuddle. So, you know, as you've sort of like been dispatching goblins, this squig jumps towards you and you don't even use your sword. You just your shield, crush it, and it squeaks and then splats along the floor.
Can I do what Roger did and activate my bulwark?
Yeah, so you can spend a point of metal to do an extra action and activate your talent.
Cool.
Excellent. So you've both got bulwark activated now, so you've both got an extra step of defense. Well, that's quite handy because you've killed 3 of the 10 squigs, but now 7 squigs are going to attack you and sort of clamber over you. And then there's some grots there's two swarms of grots who are also shooting at you at long range. So at first, the first lot of grots are going to shoot at our dear friend the tree. Unsurprisingly, it's a big target for them to hit. What's your defense now, Roger?
4.
4. Great. Lovely. Excellent. Post dice. 3. Unsurprisingly, despite your size and the fact that you're a giant tree thing, they didn't hit you at all. The other shooters decide that they're going to try and pick the lesser of the evil targets and shoot at our Dwarden. So
What's shoot at me?
what's your defense rating?
Average.
Average. Oh, they have a chance here, don't they?
I'm gleaming. Shoot me. That's what I'm here for.
Well, don't worry. You'll get your turn. Still. So
If
yeah.
they hit me now, this is going to be really embarrassing.
Well, you're okay for shooting, but it is going to be the squigs now. So the squigs, there are currently 7 of them, and 3 of them have surrounded the golden man. 3 have surrounded silver man. I'm so used to Stormcast being gold. Surrounded the tree, and then 1 is sheepishly trying to attack a Dwarden. So we should do the 3 into the tree first. We'll do the tree first. So the first one is going to go for attack, a normal attack. So your defense is great right now, correct?
Yeah, 4.
Okay. First one misses you. What's this? Okay, the next one is going to try and boing and smash. So he's going to try a special attack.
Sure.
So he's going to attack you, but it lowers his attack by 1, so he drops down to an average. And your defense is great right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only 1 dice. So basically, if it hits, it does double damage.
Wow.
Oh, and for some reason it rolled lots of dice, but he still missed anyway. So it's fine. He missed, and then the other one's just going to try and bite your leg, like a little beaver on your wooden leg. Oh, he hits and does 4 points of damage.
So I'll take 1 because I've got an extra thing.
Yeah, because you've got an extra point of armor from the current blessing from Mr. Zargrim.
So is that a wound or does that come?
Yeah, so that comes off your toughness. So if you go into your combat, you'll see toughness. So you'll have like a rating of probably 8 or 9 for you.
Yeah, I've got 8.
Yeah, so you just reduce your toughness to 7 at that point. You don't start taking any actual wounds until your toughness is down to 0. And then on to our Stormcast friend. He's also going to get chomped on. So you're also great defense now, or no, you'll be superb defense, won't you, at this point in time? If you're bulwark, bulwark plus your shield, yeah.
I don't know, at the moment it says extraordinary. That can't be right.
Yeah, because you're normally
Have I
great.
broken something?
I don't know, not that I'm aware of. So what have you activated? You've activated bulwark.
Yeah.
And you've got your shield.
Yeah.
So it should only be giving you +1. I'll have a look at that. So I'll put you as superb because that's what I think you should be, unless I've missed something on bulwark.
No, it just gives you +1.
Yeah, I thought it only gave you +1 in your melee step. Excellent. So he's. Hey, look at that! They did 3 damage.
Oh wow!
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You say this. I'm gonna roll a double 6 at some point, and you're gonna be very upset.
Thank you, Red Hammer, for my extra bit of armor.
Right. Okay. Well, the final one is gonna try and take a chomp out of the Dwarden.
This would be a double 6.
I hope not.
Do it.
So, what's your defense rating currently?
Average.
Oh, they've actually got a very good chance of hitting you here.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
5 points
damage.
of damage.
Nice.
So you've got 2 armor now, haven't you? Because you've got 1 natively from your rune and then +1 from your prayer. Lovely. So you take 3 off your toughness. But of course, you can always cauterize yourself and heal yourself. So,
hey, by the way, for some reason my armor is showing as 3, but it should only be 2.
Yeah, because
so
you don't have any native armor for
nope.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Because you're naked, essentially, wearing some loincloths.
Loincloth and a helmet and a big smile.
Well, that was mildly successful on the squig's part. So right now you're fending them off. There's like one gnawing on your leg, Roger's kind of biting into your wood a little bit. Sorry, Red Hammer's got like sort of one really latched onto him at the moment, but doesn't seem to be bothering you in any way, shape, or form. And we move back to the top of the initiative, so back to the tree.
Well, I'm gonna try and get rid of these guys. I'm gonna start hacking at the one that's biting me first, because screw that one in particular.
Well, he is latched onto your leg at the moment. That makes sense to try and remove it. And remove it you do. And in doing so, you kind of come down to hack it, but actually you kind of use the momentum and swing through and do 2 damage to the other 2 that are at your feet, gnawing at you. So, you're giving them a nice little slice and they whimper a little bit, but then just go back to gnashing. And would you like to spend a point of metal on anything?
Yeah, I'm going to reactivate Bulwark.
Lovely. Just making it harder for my poor little squigs to get you. So then Red Hammer or Dathos.
So Grim
Red
Red
Hammer
Hammer,
can go for it. Yeah.
he just continues his chant, maintaining the runic empowerment that protects us. Oh, I got my bloody thigh. And he just takes the axe and just tries to just grind it through the squig that's attached to his leg. He's laughing the entire time. Like, this is the best day ever.
I mean, you're a slayer. It's got to be, right?
7 damage.
Yeah, you remove him. And in fact, if anything, you kind of slide it down, and it's like a hot knife through butter. Just leaves nothing behind but like a couple of little teeth marks in your leg. But he's gone. He's on the floor, dead, squished, dead. Very dead, in fact. So you used your metal point.
Yep,
You're all tapped
I'm
out.
sustaining. Yep.
And in which case, I shall move over to the Stormcast, who has 3 gnashing at his armor, but not doing anything to him at the moment.
Right, so I'm going to try and take another swing. Are my allies within close range?
Absolutely.
Then I'm not on underdog. Never mind, worth a shot. Quest of Warblade.
We'll spread it out in a minute so you can try and get used to that.
Average 2. Yeah, it was average.
Yeah, their defense average.
6.
That's another dead squig.
Nice.
Just plant your sword straight in the top of its head, and like its eyes go, as you skew his brain.
I'm going to use my point of metal to activate Bulwark.
Excellent, good choice. Viewers get to see my squigs do lots and lots of hard work. Well, next up in the initiative, it is the shooty goblins who are in the next zone along. They're going to attempt to shoot at the shiny metal man again for the first one. Let's see if we can. And your defense is currently superb.
Yes.
I'm not holding out much hope. Unsurprising. No, didn't get you. And then the other ones are going to shoot at the tree again, because again they're trying to bring down the big thing. Because right now the little Dwarden is mixed in amongst it all, and it's hard to pick him out. Whereas a big tree and a big silver Sigmarine.
Sorry, it's a question. So
yes,
does cleave do damage equal to the number of 6s I've done?
That is a very good question. I'm not entirely sure.
Just do 2?
No, I think it does, because last time you got cleave, it was 6s as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I rolled 2 then.
Yeah, I think it probably is. It's going to be a weapon attribute, which I knew this was going to come up. So I've labeled weapon attributes in my thing.
Check
for the viewers at home, I have about a zillion tabs on my book right now.
You get one cleave for every 6. Yep.
Yeah. So it was going to be a weapon attribute.
Can I spend my focus to?
You can indeed. So what have you got so far? So
I've got 2 6s and a 5. So can I turn my?
Yeah. So if you click on the 5, so normal click, left click on the 5, you should then put a little 1 on it.
Oh, I did, but it says not enough focus.
It says focus available. So you should better click on it and then right click and then add the focus.
Oh, apply focus.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go.
Oh,
and there's cleave damage free. So
excellent. So really screw up all those squigs.
So those 2 squigs, they're looking pretty hurt in front of you. They're not looking healthy. They're gnashing, but it's not quite with the enthusiasm that they were gnashing a little while ago. So to the shooters, they were trying to shoot the tree. That's fine. Your defense is great right now, correct?
Assuming that means 4, yes.
Yes. Yeah. They got a success. They did 1 damage. Sadly, I don't think that's enough to pierce your armor.
Doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of just comes and ricochets off of one of your little tiny branches that comes off your back or something. Ineffectual at best. However, the little squigs at your feet, they are going to try and bite you, Roger. So the first one.
Oh,
7 damage.
okay, that is going to sting quite a lot.
Take off those 2 4s. I didn't change the step. You were still good. So the 2 4s come off. So
Those
that's
damage,
5 damage.
5, okay, so 2 more.
Yeah. So that's the first one. And he latches onto your, as you swung your scythe round, it's kind of jumped up and it's on your arm now. And then the other one. That's 4 points of damage, and your armor 3 at the moment. So that's another point.
So another one.
Another point. Oof. Oh, these little things. They're angry. They're angry. It's because you cut them with your scythe. It serves you right for getting the extra focus point. You made them angry. So you basically got like one's like sort of latched onto your branches on the back of your shoulder, and the other one's hanging off your arm. So then the 2 remaining into the shiny metal man. And you are superb. So it's basically that's what I expected. Aha! Damage free. I believe you're armor 4 at this exact moment in time. So again, they bouncing, and they're basically you just behind your shield, and they're just bouncing off your shield. It's almost comical to watch. Doing, doing, doing.
Except
like,
for the big gaping maws of
apart from
fang-filled
the
death.
giant fang-filled maw of death. Yeah, if it wasn't for that, you'd probably be laughing. But still a little bit scary. And that brings us back to the top of the initiative, Mr. Roger.
Okay, let's try and remove this bugger.
Nice.
So I kind of one-handed just scythe that one off and swing it round into the other one.
Yeah, absolutely more than enough to kill both of them. So yeah, they're both dead. So, and you almost hear a sad little whimper out the one that was under your arm.
I step on it as I move off.
But yes, they are both dispatched, and you're free now, probably to assess some of your hurts.
Can I use my metal to get one of the ones off the stormcast?
Absolutely, you can use a metal. You're both all listed in the close range, so yeah.
Oh, would Cleave have affected those ones, or is it just the ones that?
Yeah, I mean, I probably rules wise. I think realistically they're on the other side. Thematically, they're on the other side. You'd have to essentially cleave past. So I think for thematical reasons, probably.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm happy with that. Right, so I will spend my metal to try and get one of the ones off the stormcast.
Yes, you've got a focus point available. I knew you were going to do that. Unsurprisingly,
does it kill both of them?
He kills both of them.
Excellent.
So
I just kind of sweep the scythe off.
Yeah, so the scythe sweeps through. They were bouncing off his shield, and the storm guards, and all of a sudden they're gone. That's 2 dead, but there are still 2 goblin shooter hordes just ahead of you.
Yes, so if I may, Red Hammer, I'm going to charge the bow guys.
By all means, they're only 1 zone over, so move to get into their zone, and then.
So it doesn't count as a charge, or
no? It does count as a charge.
It does.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. And what are they?
Melee defense 4. They're gross.
4, and I get
4. Oof.
And you get
defense
+1 dice.
Poor.
Yeah, defense 4.
Poor. Sorry.
They're goblins.
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. That kills all 4 goblins.
Can I spend a focus on one of them?
You can indeed.
One of those 5.
Sure. Do you know what? If you spend your focus, I'll let you kill both groups because it's enough damage to kill both groups.
There you go.
Yeah. So you just wade in, and the goblins, they scream. They see you coming, they're just like, ah! as you start just bisecting them, and it's like that bit in Kill Bill where she's fighting all those guys on her own and just is chopping them up into little pieces. That's essentially what you've just done to these poor little goblins.
Poor goblins.
And once again, you find yourselves mighty heroes standing alone in the center of this, essentially the center of this battle line of order. And it's giving you a moment of reprieve to find a bit of time and to survey the battlefield. To the left, it's not looking good for the Maw Crusher. The Runefather seems to be getting the better of the fight. However, the Uruks around that fight seem to be getting the better of the Fire Slayers on the ground. To your right, the Free Guild they've run, they've retreated, they're fleeing for their lives, and the Uruks are taking great pleasure in chopping them into little pieces, which seems to keep them distracted from making their way fully to you at this moment in time. So you've probably got a round before they're on top of you. So is there anything you'd like to do in that time?
So Grim obviously drops the runic empowerment, gets his medal back, and then I will pull out my holy symbol, and it's just, you can feel the heat coming off of it, and I slam it against my thigh and call out to Grim to cauterize the wound.
And roll me a soul roll. There's a soul, it's devotion. So if you roll a devotion roll, and it should, and it's 1 plus your successes, and it's a 4-1, so it's an average.
I pulled up cauterize. It pulls up a roll to do it, but it didn't actually roll.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't test the runes beforehand to see if they've ruined their fate. But
I'll go to the stats.
Yeah, if you roll devotion, that's what you're rolling off of, and then it's a 4-1. So for every 4 plus, that's a success, and it's 1 plus every success. That's how much.
I get it's 1. Yeah, you automatically do 1, and then for every success, I get an additional 1 back. But I will probably spend 1 point of metal to get my soul bonus back.
I mean, because
nice.
That's fine. We're out. You're out of the combat at the moment. You've got like sort of like I said, a bit of breathing room, a bit of the sort of battle line in front of you is sort of almost parted. They've kind of decided that the forces they were sending against you not really worth it. So they're giving you a bit of breathing room on this battlefield to maybe make some maneuvers, take a bit of time to say a bit of time. It's seconds, but in a battlefield, it's probably very important seconds. So if you don't worry about spending your metal at this point in time, because you regenerate metal sort of every round
pretty
anyway.
Fast, yep.
Yeah. So if you want to do some healing to yourself and to other players.
Anybody else feeling the need for Grimnir's blessing, the holy flame and magma of his touch tree?
I could use some.
All right,
stomp over.
Hold still. This is gonna hurt.
He laughs when he does. Brilliant. I'm going to be watching the perimeter, as it were, while they heal each other, just to make sure nothing creeps up on us.
Ooh.
Yes, you heal, even with a fail, you still heal 1.
Yeah.
So and
you
I'll spend
those. You do have a focus point, so you could spend a focus point to turn one of those into a 4.
Okay, I'll do that.
Because that'll give you at least another success in regard. Like I said, you can spend focus every time you make the roll. So there you go.
Okay. So and then obviously I use my medal, so you get 3 toughness back.
Oh. Excellent. And just in the nick of time, because that Free Guild side that's collapsed and been chopped into little pieces, well, the Uruks, the Yard boys, there's 4 of them making their way to you, and there's about another 6 making their way to a hole in the wall that was behind you. So you've kind of been holding this sort of section of the battlefield, your gallant heroes, your mighty heroes, some of the best that Sigmar has to offer. So you were holding this, but there's sort of 3 Uruks are coming straight towards Yard boys, but there's 6 making their way to this hole in the wall. So you've now got to sort of double back and make your way into them. So we will go back into initiative. And you'll be pleased to know that the Yard boys are initiative 1.
Nice.
Well, thanks Sigmar's blessing for that.
Yes, but the 3 are in the zone in front of you, so you only need to make a move action to get into them. You don't need to charge and whatnot and lower your bonus. So, Mr. Ragewood, would you like to set us off?
Yeah, so I'm going to go into them and start hacking.
Okay. I will tell you now, they have defense great. Ard boys are considerably tougher. So you do 2 damage and 1
You've
damage.
still done some, yeah.
However, they are armor 2. So they are.
I'm assuming that making one a 4 wouldn't help. I need 5s, don't I?
What are you? You attack great or you attack good?
Attack great.
So yeah, a focus point would give you another success, which would mean that one of them would take 1 damage.
May as well.
It's going to be attrition with these guys.
Yeah, there's.
And then I'm going to activate Bulwark.
So the first one is now 7. Lovely. Are we going to keep with the theme? Who's going first out of the 2? Is it going to be Red Hammer or is the Stormcast?
Oh, Red Hammer.
Yeah, so, once again, he lifts his axe. By Grimnir's blood and mighty thews protect my bound compatriots. So for his turn, he intones that runic empowerment and gives everybody +1 armor. But I'm not going to spend my second medal to take an action right now. So he's going to stand ready.
Yeah. Okay. I assume you move up into the zone where the Uruks are.
I'm going to let one of them come to me.
Fair enough. Which then leads us on to our Stormcast. Mr. Dathos.
I will point my blade at them, whisper a prayer to Sigmar, and then charge.
So charge in. Good, sir.
Okay, so
their melee defense is great.
Their melee defense is great. That's going to be bad. But I got +1 dice for charging. And I'm going to roll that. I do 3.
So you've got a focus point. So you could essentially turn a 3 into a 4, or you could turn the 5 into a 6, basically giving you an additional. So you could just spend your focus point and give yourself an extra success.
Oh,
Good question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Would you say our short-term party goal is
There you
to repel this attack?
Yeah.
Survive attack.
I would. That's a fine short-term party goal for today.
Okay, just checking.
Good shout, good shout, sir.
Yeah, you've done
And
now
then
an extra point of
I
damage.
will.
So that one's taken 2 damage.
I will activate Bulwark because I'm gonna need it.
Yes, that is sound because it is now their turn, and they are melee great on the attack. So they are pretty hitty. So 2 of them are going to go for the Stormcast because Ard boys, they're the biggest and the best, and they're only going to fight the biggest and the best. So 2 of them are going to come wading into you, Mr. Dan, with their chopper. And you are currently defense superb because your Bulwark, you activated Bulwark with your metal, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. So they did 4 points of damage, which I believe you're currently armor 4.
I am. Yes. Thank you kindly, old boy.
And then the second one's going to chop at you.
I imagine it will make a bit of a dent though.
And
Shucks.
And then the other one's going to go into our tree friend. And you are currently Bulwark as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're melee great, defense great at this point.
Defense great.
So again, that's 3 points of damage, but you've also got +1 from armor at the image. So you've survived their counterattack. They're roaring and hacking with and it appears to be mostly bouncing off you.
Well, that's good because if we hold them up here, we don't have to beat it. We just have to stop them getting in through the hole, right?
Exactly. So it's as if you're blessed or you're being protected by a god. And that moves us back to the top of the table.
Some of us are chosen by Sigmar.
All right, then. Yeah. Just keep on chopping. I'm going to spend a focus.
Did you make sure you put them as defense? No, you've not done your you've done it as a free one, but that's fine because actually only the free would drop off that. You've not changed their defense rating to great.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
So
That's fine.
it's
But all it would do is
damage
drop off the free.
6.
So it's damage 6.
Damage 6 and cleave 3.
Cleave 3. So they will all take a
Bloody
point.
hell, still good.
They will take a point of damage to the cleave.
Yeah, I'm trying to hit the Stormcast ones as well.
Yeah, well, they're kind of at the moment. It's almost like a one-on-one situation. Obviously, it's two
so
on.
they're not near me.
Yeah, well, they are because basically what's happened is you guys have kind of moved into the zone because this is more of a heroic combat now rather than you're fighting off hordes. You're fighting off something quite big and tough. Obviously, Grimm's sort of behind the two of you at the moment. The two of you have sort of stepped forward into combat and he's activated the prayers and stuff. So your cleave could easily make its way across the line. And you're a big old tree, so you've got a big sweep on you, so you definitely catch them. And they do a fair bit of damage. So that one there, but you haven't killed any of them yet.
And you said there's 6 more coming behind these 3?
Yep. You'll be all right. You got this, guys. I believe in you.
Fine.
Just, you killed everything else with ease. I wanted to see if I could throw something a little bit harder. Right?
You have succeeded.
They are hard boys. It's in the name.
It is in the name.
Yeah. So the one in front of you, Roger, looking a bit bedaggled.
Yeah, because that's the one I hit last turn as well.
Yeah, he is indeed. Yeah. So he's looking a little bit worse of where, in fact, actually, as you look at him, one of his arms is missing. But he's in a rook. That doesn't seem to bother him that much. But he's not looking pretty. He's sort of fighting for breath and still swinging his chopper. It's a bit more laboured now. The other two seem mostly fine still, though. So so we move on to Grim, as that seems to be the habit now. So we'll just go straight to Grim rather than the Stormcast.
So it's a free action. I sustain my chant and maintain our armored forms. And then I move in to engage one of the ones is on Dathos.
Yep.
And I will swing my latch axe, but I am going to spend my last point of metal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double my training dice with that.
Yeah.
Instead of taking an extra action. So.
And their defense, great. So.
And their defense is poor.
Damn
it.
Still.
5 days. I'll spend my focus.
As I say, spend a focus, turn 1 into a 6. So damage 5. So damage 5 will go to damage 6. Lovely. Yeah, I mean, he's looking a little bit hurt, but he's still standing, still roaring in your face. In fact, your axe is latched into his body, and he's just like,
and Grim is like, let's go, Orc.
Yeah, it's just like you're just screaming at each other's faces. It's dramatic and hilarious.
They're both really enjoying themselves.
I mean, they are. I mean, Uruks thrive on the big fights, so it's biggest and the best, and they're getting the biggest and the best right now. So it's now over to them. Oh no, it's over to our Stormcast first.
Yes.
Almost forgot our Stormcast.
What were they again? Great.
Yeah, melee defense, great. So as Aaron just did, you can spend your metal to double your training in something. So if you've got like weapon skill 2, you can spend a metal point to make it essentially weapon skill 4 for a turn, giving you 2 extra dice. So it's just something to bear in mind. In fact, I probably should have explained how all the things you could spend metal on. So if you use your focus point on the free, you can then bump that up to an extra point.
Oh, won't let me.
Left click on it first, then right click and apply focus. It's a bit odd. You have to kind of click on it to say, So you do two. You do. I know what we're trying to do. So you do another additional point of damage there. So you do 2 points of damage because it has got armor 2. They're pretty tough. He's still standing. You've swung at him. And he's kind of tried to block it with his chopper. Unusual for an orc, because they don't normally try to block, but he thought he was going to try and be clever. And he goes to parry it with his chopper. You still land it. And he kind of cuts into his face. Right now,
Can I
go for it.
use point of metal to do another attack?
Absolutely.
And then spend my last point of metal to do bulwark. Does that?
Yep.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Cool.
You can blaze through all your metal. I don't mind that at all.
That's what I've done.
Well, you get one back per turn. And so he parried you. And he almost looked a bit proud of himself before he drew the blade back off of his parry and then rammed it through his throat. But he's an Uruk, so he was laughing as you did it. He's dead. He's very dead, but he was laughing and trying to warg as he fell to the floor, but obviously it was a bit more of a gurgle as he falls to the floor. But he is dead.
Oh no, we'll activate bulwark.
Well, yeah, there are some more coming to try and breach this hole that you are now plugging. So the two remaining, the bedraggled one who's sort of like standing against this tree and has definitely not been getting the better of the fight. It's going to swing. What's your current defense? Did you activate bulwark again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is still too close, so you are still getting the bonus. Okay, here we go. Ooh, he does 4 points of damage. So you are going to take one of those.
Yep.
And then into our newly joined Dwarden friend. What's your melee defense?
My melee defense is average. That's right. I'm tough. It's going to be so bad.
He just did 6 points of damage. So, but you have got armor 2 at the moment.
Yep,
so you are going to negate 2 of those. So you are going to only take 4 of those. And you've got quite a lot of toughness. And remember, you don't have to do cauterize out of combat. So you can always take the time to do cauterize in combat as your action. So if you wanted to take time to heal yourself, you're welcome to do so. However, that does put us back to the top of the.
Is no one taking a slash at me?
You killed him.
You killed him.
He's dead. There's only 2
coming.
There is more coming, but they're not here yet. They're still gently hacking apart the few 3 guild people that are desperately trying to escape or run away. It's not looking great on that side of the battlefield. So back to the top, Mr. Ragewood.
Yeah, trying to womp me this guy, see if I can finish him off. And sorry, I'm going to remember this time. So I changed another one to a 6. So
yep. So you kind of and just the Uruk's head just comes clean off. The body's still swinging, but the head's off and it's kind of like wandering off now. You don't know where it's going to end up, but it'll probably fall on the floor sooner or later when it realizes it's dead. And then as you come round, you wedge your scythe into the back of the one fighting Redhammer, and the point comes out in front of his throat and splatters Redhammer with some more ichor, and he drops to the floor as well, killing both of the remaining Ardboys. Your reprieve is short-lived because, as I said, you are now plugging the hole into
bulwark.
Bulwark. Yeah. So you kind of like almost lockstepped yourself back into this alcove now. The wall is crumbled. It's only about 3 or 4 people wide. So the 3 of you can easily plug this hole. But the 6 remaining Ardboys are now ahead of you, and they're here. So they're ready for the fight now, and they're obviously feeling brave because they're Uruks. They've probably felt a bit brave anyway. But there's now 6 of them and only 3 of you. And as far as they're concerned, you're going to be a good fight because they just watched you kill 3 of their Ardboy friends. So they are going to make their way forwards now. However, it takes them 2 turns to sort of their move action and then.
Let's just charge them.
Well, it's their turn first, Dan. They're initiative 1 and they're at the bottom. You let them have their turn. So they're going to use their turn to move into your zone.
But
basically.
we haven't had our turn yet,
Technically, it's
though.
the Stormcast and the Warden.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I forget that.
Should we charge him?
Yeah. Okay. What would you like to do, Mr. Stormcast and Mr. the Red Hammer?
Well, Grim, seeing that he's got a moment, drops the blessing, the runic empowerment, and instead takes his holy symbol, presses it to his body, and calls out to cauterize his wound again. And I will spend that point of metal, if necessary, to add my soul to it.
Oh, lovely jubbly.
Oh, good. Actually,
So lots of successes there.
okay, so I actually don't need to.
Wunderbar. You're back to, and you guys are watching this, and you can see like this burning, essentially like a key being pressed into the wound. And not only
And
does
he's
it
cackling.
and obviously he's cackling, of course. And there's a faint smell of maybe pork, not entirely sure, in the air as he does this. But the wounds seem to just knit themselves back together as he does this. Mr. Heroic himself, what would you like to do?
So I don't have my armor bonus anymore.
Not currently. However, if you charge out of this zone into the next zone, i.e. move into the zone and fight them, you would be alone against more opponents that have no allies in range.
I could try, yeah, but I might do it just so we can try underdog and see how it works. So I'm going to charge.
Excellent. So you charged into combat. Roll me an attack.
So they were great.
They are melee
Bonus
defense.
dice.
Great. You get a bonus dice.
And then do I get the bonus for underdog now or?
Yeah, so underdog, yeah, because you're in the zone on your own. So your
So
melee
is that
step,
another dice or how does that work? I
no,
don't actually
your
know how it
melee
works.
step moves up one. So you move up to, if you're great, you move up to superb. So if you've activated
So
it
I can find, yep.
in the top right corner of your box,
Superb.
if you've brought up there, you can change your thing to superb.
Excellent. Bonus dice 1. Great. Let's see what this did.
You've got a focus available, so you can just turn one of those twos into a success. I know what you're trying to do. So, I mean, that you go diving in, heroic, it's like, you hear AC/DC playing in the background as you do this, and you charge through and you kind of barge one with a shield and then drive your blade into the chest of one of them. He doesn't look happy about what you've just done to him. He's not dead. Surprisingly, you've just rammed a sword through his chest. You think he should be dead, but he's an Uruk. He's too stubborn to die. He doesn't know that he's dead. So he is still alive, but hurt. But that does mean, would you like to spend your metal to activate bulwark while you're there?
Yes, please, boss.
I thought you might.
Actually, wait, hold on. Can I spend a point metal as well to do another attack on this guy to get him dead?
You could indeed, but I think you've only got 1 point of metal currently because you spent 2 last time, didn't you? So
right, okay. So
you've only got 1 metal, so you can only spend one because you only get 1 back. You don't get both back at the beginning of your turn. There's 1 per turn. So if you use 2,
I'll bulwark then.
the one in front of you looks pretty hurt. I mean, he's not in a great place right now.
Anyway, I'm sure I can take 6 hits.
Well, we're about to find out.
Bring it!
I know, but you are melee defense superb at the moment, so it does give you a slight advantage. So the first one does 2 damage. Second one, oh no, forget that. Ignore that. I forgot to change your defense rating. There you go. You're fine.
Bloody hell, got me a heart attack.
Oh no, wait, you got armor free naturally, so you're still fine. Don't worry, there's 6 of them to go. There's only 3 more left to go.
They're just surrounding you, just hammering away, and you're just laughing. That's fine.
4, 5. That was terrible on my part. That was an absolutely atrocious dice.
Was that all of them?
That's all of them. That's all 6
Sorry,
of them.
boss.
It's all 6 of them. Have just hammered your armor. And the best I got out of all of those dice you see before you is 3. 3 damage, and you have armor 3, so no effect on you whatsoever.
Sigmar's watching out for you.
Yeah.
Anyone would think that he's the preeminent god king.
Crikey. It was a bit tense there for a moment.
Okay, well, we moved back to the top at initiative 4 with our very fast tree. So, Mr. Tree, what would you like to do?
I'll move up to the Stormcast and start trying to hack some of these apart.
Poor hard boys. Best I've got to throw at you.
Oh, that's not great.
No, you do 1 damage because of the armor 2.
I can up 1 though, can't I? If I make that
You
6?
can, yeah, you can indeed. It won't make a difference to your cleave, but it will put an additional point of damage on him.
Yeah, because damage to cleave won't do anything.
No, because it hits their armor of 2. Okay.
But yeah, so I'll make it damage 4.
Lovely, which of course means he takes 2 points of damage.
And then
Would you like to spend your metal? I'm not unsurprised. I see the theme of the see the theme that's going to happen throughout this season of Soulbound. I might have to try and make up my own enemies to throw at you, or throw up something really big at you.
I don't know. Jim and I are squishier than they are. So
yeah, Jim hits hard, but he's an elf, so he's a little bit soft. But yes, Dwarden, you're next.
I run around the battlefield naked. So I mean, bad things are bound to happen. Well, with a nice loincloth. But so I will once again call out to Grimnir and cast Runic Empowerment and buff our armor by 1.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, lovely.
And that's my turn. He's not going to move because he wants to get his be ready next turn.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Then it moves us to the Stormcast.
So I'm not on underdog now because
Roger's moved into your zone with you.
So I'm back on. Great.
Hello, friend.
Yeah, I'm great.
Sorry, someone just put in the Twitch. He's a soft elf. Can he drink?
Probably better than some dwarves we know.
Never gonna live it down.
Never.
They're great as well.
They are defense great. Yeah.
I feel like I've missed something, but there you go. Have
Oh,
Nice.
Can I change another one? I'm gonna change one of those 6s to one of those 5s to a 6s.
You can, but he's dead.
I want to do it anyway.
He's already dead, man.
So, I don't think you withdrew your blade. I think you were plunged in, and all these other ones started hitting you, and you just kind of laughed it off. And then what you've done is, rather than pulling it out, you've pulled it sideways. And he's lost an arm. He's opened up, and he just flumps to the floor, dead. He didn't even try to roar at you as he died, because it was quite a sad ending for an Uruk, really. And all his mates kind of laugh at him as he dies, because how did this wimpy Sigmar guy kill an hard boy?
And
yes.
Did Roger's character kill one as well?
No.
No. So how many left?
7 currently. Yeah. Oh, sorry, 5.
7.
5. Sorry, I don't know why I suddenly thought there was 8 of them. There was only 6.
In which case, I will spend a metal to activate Pull Walk.
Outrageous! What are you doing to me, guys?
I was thinking about doing another attack, but I'll wait.
Yeah, but you weren't sure about taking 5 hits on the head this time. Okay, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Get that. Well, they're going to split themselves down the middle. The middle one doesn't know what he's going to do yet, but 2 are going to, and we'll find out what the other one's going to do in a minute. So the first 2 into Mr. Ragewood. Your defense great currently for Bulwark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you don't take any damage because your armor's 2, but it's getting buffed by our good Dwarden friend. I'm not liking this combination here right now, guys. I'm really not, I'm not enjoying it.
It's very handy.
All this extra defense and take a point of damage. These are our boys. They're supposed to be good. Oh, now I know what Jim feels like when he's playing against us. Okay, cool. And then 2 into the superbly defended with armor 4 now. Stormcast Eternal. Oh, look at that. Actually, a good roll, but doesn't do anything to the Stormcast Eternal.
No, sorry.
Aha!
Oh,
Take a point of damage.
Okay, so this is the first time this has happened to me. What do I do?
You lower your toughness by 1.
Okay, so I have toughness 11. So 10, right? Yep, okay. Did I sound a little bit smug then? Sorry.
that's good.
You're mocking me. Be careful. There was a more crusher on the other side of the battlefield. Just remember that. Well,
sorry, 1 sec.
that's right. No worries. So the Stormcast Eternal takes a point of damage, takes a few knocks from there. And the final one is actually going to ignore these two because he thinks, two of our boys. There's a Dwarden standing in behind this. I think I'll have
Come
a go at
on,
that. So
let's dance.
He sort of barges through and comes to the average defense, is it?
Oh yeah, average defense. Yeah.
Oh, oh,
That hurts. That hurts.
Sorry.
That hurts. But hey,
Ow.
I still got my toughness was 10, so I've still got 4. I'm okay.
Yeah, so I mean, he comes through, and you're kind of busy, sort of like preparing your runes and getting your prayers up and whatnot, getting ready to wade back in. I mean, this Orc steps forward and he brings his chopper down, and it sort of really lodges into your shoulder up the top here. You can feel it biting into your bone, and it hurts. It hurts a lot, but you're still standing.
That's a good hit. My turn.
Yeah, we're back around to the top with our Mr. Ragewood. You're in the middle of sort of, there's 4 of them now, sort of like you and the Stormcast almost back to back heroically, and they're kind of surrounding you and whacking at you, and you're kind of fending them off. Okay, fair enough. So
Is he dead?
6 damage, -2, 4. No, he is not.
Okay, I will spend a focus to do an extra one.
Okie dokie. He is dead.
Excellent.
That's all you needed. So you come, the one that you cleaved earlier on, he was still standing, still looking pretty tough, but this time you sort of bring it in an arc and you just bring it down and you kind of just bisect him. He just goes
So
half.
as there's 3, would Bulwark do anything for me now?
You're still outnumbered.
Yep.
Okay. You're still outnumbered in your zone, so Bulwark would still activate. It's whether or not the Stormcast kills the other one, another one that was there. So, but we are down to 4 Ard boys remaining.
Sod it. I'm just going to hit him again.
Okay, so metal wade into another one.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was terrible, but you do still do a point of damage. Okay, and that moves us on to Mr. Redhammer.
So he brings this axe around, almost like it almost looks like a molten blade as he swings it around to cleave into this Auric. And if with everybody's permission, I'm going to use a point of soul fire.
I don't know what that means, so go for it.
So Soulfire is what you have as a pool to spend as a unit. Basically, for each Soulbound in the unit, not including Stormcast, you get a point of Soulfire. I think I know exactly what's going to happen here, and he's about to maximize all of these.
Why not including Soul?
Because you're not Soulbound. Stormcast Eternal aren't Soulbound. You can't be bound. So you're essentially like an attaché. You're there to guide them and help them along their way, but you're not actually soulbound. So Stormcast can never be soulbound because your soul belongs to Sigmar. That's it.
And it regenerates slowly. That's why I was asking if our short-term party goal was to stop this attack, because that's one of the ways.
When you do a party thing, So I assume you're then just going to maximize all your successes as 6s.
I am going to do that.
And how many dice do you get to roll right now?
Well, I'm also going to spend my point of metal that I have left to double my training dice.
I wish I knew I could have done that. I would have just walked in and cleaved them.
Actually, I don't think when you use Soulfire, if I remember rightly, you can't use metal to double your training.
Oh, okay. Then
I think that was one of the things. When you maximize successes, you cannot spend metal to double your training. They kind of took that into mind, but they're all 6s.
Makes sense. Yep. So
they'll all be 6s. Those 5 there, they're all 6s. There it is. You cleave this Uruk standing in front of you, cleaning too. He thought he had the better of you when he had his chopper lodged in your shoulder. But you kind of almost half step back and just bring your axe across. And he's still laughing because he's got his chopper in it. And then he realizes that his bottom half has fallen over. And it's almost like cartoonish. He kind of falls and then his top half falls to the floor as well. But he is very dead.
I'm holding his head as his entrails and everything fall out. I told you it was a good hit.
You did tell him it was a good hit. So we are down to 3 orcs remaining now. Two on you, Mr. Stormcast, and 1 on our very good friend, Mr. Ragewood. But it is you now, Mr. Stormcast.
Right, okay. I will take a smack. Oh. 5.
Yep, and you can use your focus to either increase the 5 or increase the 3.
I will.
Either way, it's an extra point of damage.
I'll increase the 4. 6.
Lovely. Okay. So he takes 4 points of damage.
I am going to use my metal to attack him again.
Okay. Lovely jubbly.
So.
Okay, you're sensing the tip in the balance point of the battle here. So that's very nice. Okay, you can still use a focus point because it's another roll, so you can get another point of success there.
Oh, is it per roll?
Yes, per roll. Focus is per roll. So every time you roll at something that has a stat, you can roll. You can use your focus to it.
So I could have upped another damage onto the second hit.
Oh yeah, you could have. Yeah, sorry. All
right.
So Dan, he's looking pretty hurt, but he is still standing, and he looks a bit angry now because you've hacked at him twice. Kind of hacked, and he's still standing. He's angry, but he's gushing a lot of green at this point. So you didn't activate Bulwark, so
no, doesn't seem to want to let me drop it down again. Now I've moved it to, but it seemed to be stuck at Superb. I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, we can have a look at that after tonight. So you would be back down to Great now. So
fine. We still got our armor bonus though.
Yeah, you still have your armor bonus.
Fantastic. I'm not worried then.
And I get 4 damage, so you're absolutely fine. And then the second one, the one you just beat up a little bit, let's see if he can get some revenge. He does do a point of damage.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you know? I reckon I know what actually, because you said you got quite high toughness. So what did you put? I'm just looking how your defense.
My toughness is 11.
Okay, yeah, because some of the stats you improved. You may have body plus training in reflexes. Oh no, so you wouldn't have done reflexes. I don't know them. We'll have a look afterwards to see why your stats so high for things. So you took your 1 point, and then Mr. Ragewood, what is your defense now? You're not. Are you bolt walking still?
No, I'm not. I did an extra.
Oh,
attack.
You did an extra attack. That's right.
Good.
It's just good now. Okay. Ooh,
so 3.
3 points. 3 points off your toughness, please.
Ow.
As he brings his chopper in, because he's just seen you bisect a load of his mates, so and sort of lodges it into your arm. You can feel that it's broken the bark a little bit on you there. But we are now back with you at the top.
So, how often does Soulfire regenerate?
It's really hard.
It's really, really hard to regenerate Soulfire. However, for the purposes of today, you can use up all your Soulfire. I will give you all your Soulfire back for the start, because this is an epilogue. This isn't part of our true adventure. This is just us getting a taste of the game and setting the scene, as it were, for the story ahead.
In which case, I will do that.
Yeah. Okay. So roll your dice, and then I think you can add the Soulfire to it. Yeah. Aaron did it a second ago. I'm not entirely sure how he did it though.
You're right, Web.
Jesus wept.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's why.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Right. So the one
amazing.
The one directly in front of you, who wasn't looking great to begin with anyway, he is dead. And as you've done it, you've gone across the midriff. So we're just basically cutting him in half at this point. You've cut the first one in half. You've cut the second one in half that was just getting a battering from the Stormcast Eternal, and you're wedged into the third one, who is looking shocked because he's just watched two our boys drop. He is still standing, but he doesn't look great.
I'm going to use my metal to see if I can push it the rest of the way through.
Okay, roll your...
Nicely done, sir.
Oops. I will spend my focus to make that 3 or 4 because I should have upped that.
Yeah, that's fine. So, yeah, and with a sort of almost putting your body into it, you kind of sort of bring your shoulder forward and you give it a good old shove through, and it goes the rest of the way, and the hard boy hits the floor, and you look around as if you're going to fight something else, and wow, I mean it's there's lots of dead things, and the battlefield looks pretty grim beyond you, but right here, right now, in this gap in the wall, the 3 of you have managed to hold it. But you hear a roar in the distance, and you can see another wave coming. And this is probably the 5th wave you've faced in the last couple of days holding this bit of the wall. But as it comes towards you, and as you can see the beleaguered defenders moaning and groaning, and oh God, not another one. We can't hold another one. We've already lost so many troops. You can see the morale dropping in everybody. The hairs stand up on the back of your neck, or leaves start to stand on your bark. And with a great clap of thunder, lightning erupts across the battlefield in front of you. And standing before you are none other than the Hammers of Sigmar. The Golden Warriors of Sigmar have arrived, and they launch themselves at the oncoming horde. And you can feel the tenseness lift off the soldiers that were standing around you. And the energy is now of one of victory and glory. And sort of as one, everybody from the wall charges forward. But the noise hides a grunt, and an Uruk who you thought was dead stood up behind you. And the only person who even remotely hears it is Dathos. And as he turns into an oncoming chopper, and it all fades to black. And all we hear in the darkness and the crackle of lightning is "Hallowed are the gods." Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight in that little amuse-bouche of our journey. Hopefully, you'll join us for more next week. I don't know our schedule, so normally someone right now would go, and coming up on coming up on Garblag Games is Aaron. What's coming up on Garblag Games for us, please?
So let's see. On Thursday tomorrow, at your time, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. if you're in Great Britain, will be Lewis running the One Ring as he continues his adventures. And then Thursday night, Garblag North America, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, while you guys are all dead asleep, we will be continuing with our Octun Cthulhu 2D20 campaign. And as a special shout out, since it was announced earlier, please tune in to Garblag Games North America on Thursday nights in November. Modifius has asked us to run the Forces of Fear for them. So for 6 weeks in November and into December, we will be showcasing their new campaign. So please do check that out. Then on Friday, we'll be back for the finale of season 1 of the Knaves of Dusk, our Blades in the Dark campaign, as our crew have 2 of them have been held prisoners by the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh, and trouble's brewing for them. Let's see if they can survive the finale. I don't think it's likely. Then I believe on Monday we'll be back for more City of Mist. Tuesday we'll be back for Coriolis, and then Wednesday Dan will kill us all.
We're back for the episode 1, the start of our adventure next week on Hallowed Are The Gods, our little Age of Sigmar Soulbound. So I hope you really enjoyed it tonight. Thank you everyone for coming along. If you're watching us on YouTube, join us on Twitch. If you're watching us on Twitch, join us on YouTube. Definitely join us on YouTube for the Modifius sponsored thingy Bobby that Aaron just said, because that's going to be great. And I'm in England, so I'm not going to watch it live, but definitely come onto YouTube and watch it later. Otherwise, join us on the Discord. Lots of fun things and fun chat going on there. You'll find all of us there, probably chatting about something. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us on Garbag Games, and we hope to see you next week.
Good night.